the energy has been like, oh, just, oh, you know, just, oh. And so let's do a reading about it, okay? No, but seriously, it's been such a push and pull energy, and like for everyone I know, I feel like this is coming up in all of my like all of my one-on-one readings collectively. This is coming up in collective readings. This is coming up in personal readings, like, and just even intuitively, there's like yes, there's momentum, there's movement forward, whether that is towards like a personal goal, a collective goal that you're thinking about. Like there's things that come up that are like themes that you keep going over and over in your head of what it is that you want or this thing that you want to do, and it keeps coming up, but then sometimes something happens and it feels so far away, but it's not about the thing. Like you're so much bigger than the thing, and you know that, and you have so many like facets to you. Like you're not one track minded. It's just that this thing is important, but all the things that happen that get in your way or that kind of throw you off, or it's like a wrench in this plan that you've had, it's just like, okay, like I can only take so much, you know, I can only take so much. And also, like, what is with this constant push and pull? Because I feel like I have momentum and I feel like I'm moving forward. And then something happens that like sets me back or that just makes me feel like an old version of myself. And of course, like we know this is purging and purging and purging, but there's been like even weird physical symptoms. Like I have just today started to feel so nauseous in certain bursts, and then like my heart starts pounding and racing, and like nothing's happening, and then it's fine, and then like a few hours later it'll happen again. Waking up in the middle of the night, maybe getting migraines, like those are also signs, or like headaches when it's not necessarily usual for you, or getting them at usual times as well. Just like a lot of like even like cycles being off, maybe there's been something going on where things don't feel quite the same in your body. And it's just like, how can I have so many answers, and how can I get it, and how can I know exactly where I am and know where I'm supposed to be and find gratitude in the lessons, and I'm doing all of this, but there's still like, it's not even that anything's wrong. It's that something still comes up that you feel like you have to fixate on, right? And so, like, that's the energy that I am tapping into. That's possibly confirmation for you if you're feeling that way. And let's just get into like what this feeling is and like what we can do to move through it better. Okay, so these cards that I just picked up, I have the Page of Swords, I have the Three of Wands. Okay, with just these two cards, I heard you're writing a new story. You're writing a new story. And for some of you, that is literally like you're writing a book, you are writing a curriculum, you're writing a plan, a business plan, or a plan for like some sort of community work or community center. Like there's something you're building. There's like you're literally writing things out or planning them. For other people, writing a new story is literally just picking up like a new picking up a new side to yourself is what I'm hearing. It's almost like this part of you has been in your head or in your thoughts like your entire life, but you have not been them. This is like the strongest part of you. This is the most powerful and clear minded part of you. And you've been like, you've always had their intuition inside of you and their voice inside of you. And in some ways, it's what's kept you going. But there's also so many times where you didn't even hear their, like, you didn't know that they were there. You couldn't conceptualize who they were. You didn't believe that there was a good side to you or a wise side to you or a side to you that was going to get you through everything. Like, there were so many times where everything felt like it was crashing down. Like, things just kept feeling like they were falling apart or starting over. And you just had to get through it. But like deep down, there was like an inner knowing, right? That we all have. But there's something about like, it wasn't just your intuition, it was a side of yourself. It was a side of yourself. It was a part of yourself. And it's almost like that part of you had to shrink back because you, whoa, because you were not capable of handling the the responsibility of being that person, and you also didn't, like, part of you was still in that mode of like, I want to check out, I want to dissociate, I want to escape, I want to not like face my responsibilities, I want to run away, I want to make decisions that aren't good for me. Like, there was a lot of that going on. So while obviously consciously we're all like, yeah, I want to be my wisest self, I want to be my best self, like, there probably were times where you were not even thinking that remotely, like, and you just didn't want that. And so that side of you was always inside, and maybe it even got you out of some really risky situations, or maybe you look back at like some of the choices that you made or the places that you found yourself and you're like, it's a miracle that I even made it out of there. And I feel like a lot of that was this side of you that always like came out when something was really bad, you know, to like save you. Or it was like that really quick mindedness that you had to have in certain situations. Like, there's something, I'm almost seeing like someone escape or like jump out a window and like sneak around a house. Trying not to be seen. Like, there was like this really smart, intelligent part of you, but you weren't. And it's not that you weren't always smart, it's just that you weren't always connected to this deeper thing, this deeper side of you, because it held so much power that it almost made you afraid. And also, like, again, you knew what kind of choices, deep down, you knew what kind of choices it would take to be that person. And that wasn't even on your radar. Um, but you are like finally saying yes to being that person, and you are excited about that, and it's almost like now you don't see any other option. You're like, of course I am this, like, this is who I am, this is the me that I've always been. But you're still in the process of like shedding and letting go of a lot of the parts of yourself that you formed and built that were not as genuine, or that were like coping mechanisms. And this is again not that like before and after energy. It's not to say you're a different person, because you actually are becoming the more authentic version of you. You're just letting go of things that no longer serve you, which again, we shed and cycle through so many chapters of our lives constantly. Like, that's just always going to be happening. So it's not like, I want to be really mindful of not projecting the energy of like, you were bad then and you're great now, or your present is bad now and your future is perfect. Like, that's not the case, and that's never where I want to go with my readings. So I want to make that clear. But we have the Emperor and the Two of Wands, right? So Page of Swords and Three of Wands, and then Emperor and Two of Wands. And I'm not seeing these as like contradicting or anything. I'm just talking about the next two cards that we have. The Emperor is such a strong energy of, again, being in that power, no, like having that authority and not being afraid to use it. The way, and like also, like, looking at this Two of Swords and the way that they're like cloaks or capes or whatever it is, like, they look very similar. It looks like the Emperor is the older version of this two of sorry, was I saying Two of Swords earlier? If I was, that was a mistake. Of the Two of Wands. And looking at how one version has become the next, but this, like, it almost looks like this is your younger self and this is your older self, but the red cape to me in my mind is representing like this wisdom, right? This wise energy, this direction, this path. And with the Emperor, it's like he's still on the path, but he's done so much of it that he's almost able to kind of look back and see what he always knew he had to do. He's seen the fruits of that labor come out. Whereas with the Two of Wands, like, they're looking at the globe in their hands saying like, this is the plan I'm making, this is the story I'm writing, this is the legacy I'm leaving. So they know they have it within them, but they haven't fully done it yet. And this person hasn't like, it's not like they're done forever, or it's not like they're not going to make any other moves, but they have left already a substantial legacy, or a substantial like their body of work. Like, it almost feels like something's just like coming through me. I don't know how to explain it, and it just feels like there's like so much creative energy ready to come out of you. A lot of you may be practicing a lot of like Kundalini yoga right now, or maybe even like pranayama, like a lot of like that fire breath, or just like quick short breaths. Maybe some of you have been like going on runs or doing more cardio, and like that like certain kind of like very repetitive short breath is like something that feels really good to your body right now, but something about yeah, just moving through and always knowing that this is a part of you, and finally being ready to like I said at the beginning, write this story. I'm getting called to this deck now, so I'm gonna actually start shuffling with this a little bit and see, okay, what should we be focusing on right now if we're feeling this energy? The Lovers card came flying out. It is a little ripped though, so I always take it with a grain of salt in this deck, because look at this card. It got ruined at an outdoor event in the snow. Okay, what should we be focusing on? Okay, with that Lovers card, I do feel like I need to talk about it. I'm gonna include it in the reading. Okay, wait, actually I don't think I can show this card, so sorry. Okay, I'm not even, yeah. I don't think I can show this card, but with the Lovers card, this is, I'm getting a lot of like, you are embracing yourself on a deeper level. And okay, something else that was actually coming up, that's been coming up for me personally, and I think it's coming up for like the people that will watch this, is like a really deep need for isolation, and like maybe being around like your chosen person or like your chosen couple of people. But you might normally be like very social people, or even if you're not always social, like you've been loving being around people earlier this year, you felt like genuinely drawn to community, to making more community, to, I'm hearing even mutual aid, like maybe even like community driven organizations or events or nonprofits, like something about like having like a big world kind of exist around those realms is really coming through. um so you really found a lot of joy in that, and for a lot of you, I'm hearing the word blossom, so maybe you were kind of more isolated in the past, but this year has been a big year for like making those connections, like not feeling shy, feeling like you're around the right people so you can actually express yourself and be yourself and enjoy where you are. But in the last couple of weeks, and I feel like for the next couple of weeks for you as well, you're just being really drawn to kind of being alone. And it's not like you're hiding from anything or running away like maybe you were before. This is like you are in love with your own energy. You are in love with just like, you're just feeling grateful for yourself. You're finally allowing yourself to recognize all the gifts that you've had this entire time. And because of that recognition, because of that like ability to prioritize and to love yourself and to just be excited about where you are, even if it's not perfect, like it feels like such a big need to slow down, but it feels like permission. Mm. That's what I was looking for. That's the feeling. It feels like you are just giving yourself permission to do whatever. I'm hearing like loose purse strings and seeing like a wallet. I feel like for a lot of you, you maybe are someone that is always really practical with your spending, or you don't spend on yourself that much, or you don't ever like splurge. And this is something about just like intentionally treating yourself with certain things, or knowing that like you've been looking out at something or saved something and wanted to buy it for months and months and months, and you're finally doing it. Like something about like even that permission to spend on yourself, permission to rest, permission to not be anything for anyone else, permission to just enjoy yourself, permission to not put pressure on yourself. That's what it feels like. So even if you are still like around some people that you love, or you kind of like everything that you're doing feels peaceful, and you're just drawn to continue doing things that feel very peaceful and very relaxing, and like you're taking that energy with you, but you're also not forcing yourself to do things like you usually do. um because I feel like that's where a lot of the energy used to get muddled, is forcing yourself into things that you you really didn't want to do, and like sucking up your energy or changing your energy or trying to be something or someone that you're not. It did more damage than you think, is what I'm hearing. Okay, it just suddenly stopped recording, so I hope that I remember where I was. I think I do. I was just talking about how there were people that you were around that were not fully the right people, and it has something to do with you not being your fullest self. It's not like there was anything wrong with these people or that they were bad or anything, but it feels like some of the people that you knew even 3 to 5 years ago, like there's just something where you have become even more authentic. I'm hearing you've become more of a weirdo and you've finally given yourself that permission, like I said. And that's kind of why you're feeling so isolated right now. It's like, I don't want to perform for anyone and I don't want to be anything for anyone. I getting almost this feeling of like being in a cocoon and like turning into goo and not having an identity. And it's like you can handle your daily responsibilities, but you just want to do the routine and then you want to like go into your inner world. That's really what I'm feeling. It's like I want to be like in my imagination, but not in like a dissociated way, or I want to just like yeah, like forget who I am for a minute, but not in a running away kind of way, because you're still very present in your day-to-day life and you're not doing anything wrong or you're not doing anything to hurt yourself, but it feels like a full rebirth and it feels like you're fully in that process of like dissolving truly and coming back up in a way that is going to be that is going to serve you even more. And those are those glimpses that you're seeing. It's almost like you're in the cocoon and there's like little bits of you like crystallizing or forming or whatever happens in a cocoon, and in those little moments you're getting those glimpses. That's why you feel like you're almost like in that place where everything feels so clear, or in that place where it feels like you've already accomplished so much, or you can start to see how the creative gifts that you want to leave behind, or the projects that you're working on, like what it is that is your soul tie with the universe. Like what is it, that thing that what that thing what that thing that you are trying to nourish, that thing that you are trying to birth in this world, the thing that you have probably visualized in your mind's eye as a garden. That it's like those pieces of clarity and all of these little things about your life or what's coming ahead, these little snaps of like the future, or how you'll react to things in the future, who you're going to be, or how you're going to be able to be even stronger. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's hard to articulate this, and I feel like you see, like, I'm just like tripping over my words and not able to get it out as well as I want. But that version of you is like the little snaps that are forming in the cocoon, the little things that are crystallizing, and everything else is just kind of going in and out, right? It's almost like when you're in that really deep sleep and like you wake up and then you go back to sleep and you don't quite know when you finally wake up, like what was a dream, what was reality, like just that constant like in and out feeling. It feels like you're really heavily there. It almost feels like my consciousness is like molasses. Okay, Three of Swords. That's very interesting, and it kind of just like plopped out. It's okay to visit your darkest times, but it's also okay to not worry about healing them perfectly. Like, okay, that's actually the message, is looking at this heart. The swords are in the heart. No one's there trying to yank the swords out, right? And so there's something about this card where it's like there's a point where you just have to make peace with the pain and you just have to like continue to move forward. And again, like this is a collective reading, right? So for some of you, if you're like, no, like there's so much that I need to heal and purge and let go of, and maybe you have plans of like ceremonies or things that you're doing to release that, then like again, follow your intuition. That like that's where you're being led, so follow that. But for a lot of us too, we don't need to worry about being perfect. We don't need to pull out the sword and bandage everything up and have it like tied neatly in a bow in order to move forward. And actually looking at this Three of Swords right on this Emperor from another deck, again, that theme of red. I'm wearing red and I usually don't. The not perfectly healed wound is your wisdom. That is your wisdom. That is your gift to the world. That is what you have to offer. And so, like, I'm really getting a feeling of like someone who might be pregnant watching this. And if you are, like, your pain is, or your mistakes, or all the things that you might be judging yourself for, or realizing like you don't want that for your child, like, all of those things are still informing how you're going to parent. They're informing how you're moving forward in the future in your own life. So that healing is still your wisdom. That healing and that pain is still where you are going to grow and move forward. And it's a part of you that is also sacred. We don't have to just make Six of Wands is what I just pulled out. I didn't even see that till I held it up. But we don't have to just celebrate or get lessons from the great things that we have in life. The great things that we have in life might make a few stories, but it's the pain, it's the hardship, it's the difficulty, it's the getting back up and trying again. That's the stuff that you teach someone. That's the thing, that's what happens for life to teach you. You know what I mean? I've also been seeing 321 and dragonflies a lot, so those could be extra confirmations. Also, large flocks of birds, crows, sparrows. Yeah, those have been really heavy lately. Like frequent. So those could be additional signs for you. I'm also seeing like stickers. Maybe you've been picking up free stickers from somewhere, or maybe you just got made stickers for yourself or for your business. That felt kind of significant for some reason. Okay, Six of Wands. First of all, like another red dress, this theme of red is like really carrying us through the reading. So red, another huge significance. But the Six of Wands is really about, again, about you being seen. And something that is just crossing my mind is, again, the way that she is alone on this horse and people are around her. But it's not to say that you're on like another level or some sort of hierarchy bullshit, but it's just that you're not afraid to stand alone anymore. You're not afraid to stand alone anymore. And that was something that was your biggest like fear when you were younger is I don't want to be alone. I don't want to suffer alone. And a lot of that, maybe you were surrounded by people, but maybe you felt deeply misunderstood, or you just didn't feel seen, or you didn't feel wanted, you didn't feel celebrated, right? Again, black sheep, like we have dealt with a lot of that in our lives. And so that could have been just with your family, that could have been with your family, with friends, with like lots of other experiences that you've had since. So that feeling of like finally allowing yourself to be seen, and it's happening just in time for you to almost not even care, right? And it's like you care in the sense that you know how grateful you are for that in a way, because the opposite really sucks and you've always experienced that and you've probably wished for this, like to feel truly seen. But you're also like, you've worked on yourself so much and you have so much self-validation, and you find again so much joy in being yourself, in being with yourself, in being, excuse me, in being in your own company, that you're just like I feel good here, but like I'm riding this horse because I want to ride this horse. I'm not riding this horse because I want to be in the parade. Ooh, that was good. Okay, we got two last cards. I asked Spirit for any last final messages before we wrap this up. I got the Page of Swords, and that's what we got from the first deck as well. I'm hearing that some of you might look more like the second deck. And she is, I love the butterfly wings and her outfit. But yeah, two Page of Swords, right? So like again, this writing part is coming in really heavy. I'm hearing writing grants maybe, or writing something, yeah, like a grant or an application for a bigger idea that you have. I'm seeing signatures, I'm seeing contracts. Something's going on with this where like it really feels like the written word is important here in some way. Even outside of that, though, the Page of Swords is really this energy of like, I'm going out and I'm doing it. And something about like their faces in this particular reading, like they feel content to be at the beginning of their journey, right? They're not trying to rush it. Like they're happy to be this person because they have the world in their hands and they know where they're going and they're excited to go there. They can see everything that they are here to do. And instead of it feeling daunting, instead of it feeling exhausting, instead of it feeling overwhelming, you're like, yes, I got this. I can do this. I was made for this. And you're not putting the pressure of the entire world on your shoulders. You're putting things into little small pieces that are allowing you to move through it in a way that makes you proud of yourself, that still allows you to rest, that still gives you some sense of balance. And that is so rewarding and fulfilling for you. And that's why you even more so feel like doing those little things like treating yourself, or like giving yourself permission to be whoever you are, because you're showing up in the right way and you're showing up for yourself. You're not showing up for other people. So all of that energy that you're putting towards being seen or putting your work out there or whatever that looks like for you, that is done from a sense of authenticity, from a sense of honesty, from a sense of just you wanting to be in the process of doing that, you loving the process of doing that, not because someone told you to, right? And then the final card here, the Knight of Cups, you have, first of all, I love this horse and I'm really drawn to it. Horses might also be significant for you, but the way that the horse is kind of like, I don't know, it kind of looks angry, but it also kind of looks maybe like it's holding back a little bit, like the owner or like the person riding it is kind of pulling its what's it called, its lead. Is that what it's called? I don't know, I'm thinking of probably not the right word, but um it feels like they're ready to go and there's like a little bit of holding back. But the Knight of Cups is also like you're not rushing into anything anymore. Like this isn't the Knight of Swords. This isn't the Knight of Wands. Like you are very in tune with where you are. Okay, this is a part. Oh my God. The cup is like, how people always say like to fill your own cup, right? To fill your cup before you pour out. It's on that same note of like the cup that the knight is holding up is their capacity to give or to show up in that moment. So again, that idea of permission is coming through. It's not about what you are, it's not about giving 120% every single day and burning yourself out. It's not about rushing towards the thing like with no stops in sight. You are just showing up with what you have to give that day. And maybe sometimes your cup is being held out empty because you need someone else to pour into you. And that is okay because you are right by this river. You have so much support. You have so much that community, that the universe, that the people around you are willing to give back to you. And that idea of reciprocity is so important here because you can't have the same water every time. You can't be even pouring from your own same water all the time. It'll get stale. Like the water pitcher that you have still has to be refilled by another water source, right? And so you need the fountain, you need the river, you need the stream, you need the ocean, you need all of these things that are around you that are big emotions, small emotions, community, life experience, lessons. Like you need all of it to go into the filter. And that filter is what is filling your cup, and it's also what you're pouring out and what you're giving to others. And again, that reciprocity, they're constantly pouring in back to you. And there's such a big feeling here of like, show up with what you have. Even again, like I said, it wasn't the Knight of Swords that showed up earlier, it was the Page of Swords that is really here to like, there's something about this innocence and this naivete that is really here to like, it's like I'm ready, but I'm willing to learn. I'm also willing to learn. I'm willing to grow with this. I see myself in some ways as a beginner on this larger journey, on this journey of, and as a beginner, it's not to say that you don't have immense life experience behind you, because you do, but this is about the journey of your creation, of your story, of what it is that you are leaving behind, of your legacy, of the way that you can help other people, the way to like anchor in the kind of world that you want to see. So it's so much bigger than just you or just your past, right? So with this idea of like innocence, of being kind of a beginner, you are willing to say, hey, I don't know everything. And I don't want to figure it all out because I have been through enough where I know that I trust the path that is in front of me. The Page of Swords also comes after the Ten of Swords, that full ending. That full ending, the swords in the person's back when they're laying face down, they have been through so much. So they have a journey behind them, but they also are not at the end of this journey either. So there's something about this fresh chapter that's opening up that is allowing you to be open and also to know how much it is that you have to offer. And that is honestly a lethal combination. And it is so much more intimidating than acting like you know it all, than acting like you're going to be perfect and like if you just control every little thing it's going to be fine and your plan is the only plan. And that's not the same energy as this. This is true power, and that ability to see yourself as someone that can grow on this path that still has so much to learn while having so much to offer. That is going to be the hidden key, the hidden secret to, first of all, not self-sabotage this process and this journey in your life, but also to really be in a sense of flow and be smart enough to not outsmart yourself. That outsmarting energy, that need to rush, that impulsiveness, that go, 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 that like heads first, no rest, no breaks, like just go. That has been such a big part of your self-sabotage this entire journey. And a big part of that rushing, impulsive energy comes from a place of not actually trusting that you'll get there, not actually trusting that you can make the right decisions. So you overthink and you second guess and you doubt and you change and you go over it again and again and again because you don't trust. And so saying like, hey, I'm here and I'm fully me and I'm going to show up completely, but I don't know how I'm going to get there. And like, who cares? It's more fun that way. That's a powerful energy. That's the energy that you should hold on to, that you need to continue like putting energy into, because your ego self is also really like grasping at you to say, hey, come back. Like, hey, wait, we do know everything. We do know how to do everything. And if you just go over things this many times, and if you just make this exact plan and just follow it to a T, and if you just, then everything will be perfect. And it's like, no, it's not about me doing things to control things to make the end result things being perfect, because that is still within a limited perception that I have. I don't know the whole story, but I am writing it. Oh, oh, that's where I'm ending it. That was so good. Okay, I hope that this resonated for you. If it did, leave me like a little writing emoji down in the comments below. I have some one-on-one sessions available. We have Zoom readings where we can sit live face-to-face and actually get into all your questions and go back and forth. Or I have voice note readings, which are a lot more affordable, and you can also keep the recording, but it's just sent to you in a voice note to your email address around one specific topic or area of your life or question that you have. So, those are my tarot reading options right now. That's all I have for one-on-ones. And then I do have one-on-one self-worth coaching sessions. If you are a black sheep, if you want to work on your self-worth, your people-pleasing, your hyper-independence, your hyper-vigilance, if you just need someone who understands your background to even take a look at like what you're going through in a creative sense, what you're going through with what you're trying to build, the hardships that you're facing with where you're trying to go, that's also something that we can do in a self-worth coaching session. So that is available as well. And that's all I'm going to share for now. So I love you all very, very much. Remember that you are worthy whether you believe it or not.